guys, in this video we're going to be creating a cute and simple Be My Valentine site using basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's a super easy project that we can do in under an hour, so it's so easy to make it for your partner or your crush or even your galentines. So without further ado, let's get coding and have some fun! When they click on the letter, we want to prompt the question. And if they click no, the yes button will just get bigger and eventually they will click yes. And you can add your notes here. And the other option is to make the no button run away no matter what, so they'll never be able to click it. First, we'll be creating our folder. Then I'm gonna go into it and create VS Code. Then we'll be creating 3 files. The first is index.html. Then we'll have our styles.css and script.js. Then import all the graphics. First, let's do our HTML backbone. Then we'll have our title and link to our style sheet. And we'll link to our JavaScript file, script.js. And the very first thing we want to do is create our envelope screen, the little envelope that we click before we prompt our questions. And we'll use our image, envelope.jpg. And we'll have our text letter for you with the little heart emotions. And next up is the letter screen. And we'll have to create a container. Then inside the container, we're going to have our very first item, which is the letter window. And we'll have our text, will it be my Valentine? Then we'll have our image of the little cat with the heart. And we'll also have our 2 buttons, the yes and no, so we'll need to create a div for that. And the very first one is yes. Now we're going to create a wrapper because we need the class name to fetch it from the JavaScript. Great, so very lastly, we need to have our text area where we want to add our note, like day night at 7. Very first thing we want to design is our overall body. And we want to center everything, and we're going to use display flex for this. For the background, we want to use the little heart shaped background. And first thing we're going to design next is our envelope screen. We're going to use the envelope container ID that we specify in the HTML file. And we want to center the text and cursor to be pointer. We also want the envelope to be pulsing, so we're going to create keyframes for that. And it's very simple. We just want to scale it by 0.1 at 50 and go back to the original size at 100%. This is for the envelope image. We want it to be 200 pixel and add the animation there. Next, we have the letter container. This is where all the displays are. And then we'll have the letter window, which is the shape of the window display. And we want to keep the aspect ratio of the image because it's an image and we don't want it to be very wonky. And this is what it looks like right now. And nothing's clickable, so we won't be able to see the letter window. And we're going to center everything vertically, and text also center. Then we're going to specify the image that we want here, which is window.png. That's the window dialog box, and we don't want it to repeat. We center it, and we add a little border radius to round the corners. Okay, and we just increase the size of the image by 1.2 just for my preference. And we're gonna add the animation. So when the user clicks the envelope, we want the letter window to not just appear, but like a little smooth animation there. And that would just be scaling it from 0.6 to 1. Okay, this is just the font size for the question, will it be my Valentine? Alrighty. Now is for the cat image. We want it to be 250 pixel, add a little margin, and add animation for when they change shapes. Like when they click yes, then we want a different cat. And for the final cat, we want it a little smaller. Now for the buttons, we want to center everything. For the no wrapper, we want to make the position relative. Then for every buttons, we want them to be 120 pixel and be pointer cursor. For the yes button and also the no button, we want to re-specify the width just to be sure, and height to be auto, and display to be inline block. And just for the yes button, the position needs to be relative, and we want the Z index to be 2 because we want it to be above the no button when the yes button gets bigger. We're also getting a little animation here when they get bigger. And for the no button, we want the same relative and the Z index to be 1 because we want it to be below it. And our final style is the final text. We just center everything. And add a little background so it pops from the pixel background. For JavaScript, I imported all the elements that we're going to be using by using the get element by ID and class selector, query selector from index.html. These are just mappings to that, and you can just copy and paste from what I have. And our very first thing that we're going to do is if we click on the envelope, we want to remove the envelope, so we'll make it display none. Then we'll have the letter dialogues and everything else to appear, so we'll do the display for that to be flags because initially its display is none. And we want to add a timeout to our letter window animation by 50 milliseconds. And this is for when we want the yes button to grow, our very first method. So when the person clicks no, the yes button will scale. And I'm just adding some transition animation to be east. So here's the logic where the no button is clicked will increase the yes button by double the size of the original one. I'm just adding some paddings and whatnots. these need to be curly brackets. Alrighty, so when the yes button is clicked, we're going to change the title of the text from "What will be my Valentine" to "Yippee," and we also want to change the cat image from cat heart to now cat dance. We now want to signal using our query selector for our letter window that we're now in our final part. So we signal them to show the text for the date night and Yippee instead of the original "Will you be my Valentine?" And we're gonna remove the button, so we have the display for that to be none, and we will show our final text using display block. Okay, let me show you how to add our pixel font. So we go to Google Fonts and we search for Pixelfy Sans, and we copy this code right there, and we're just paste it in here in our index.html file. Awesome. So if we go to the style.css and add our font family, Pixelfy Sans, and we're just gonna add a backup that is a sans serif in case never got fetched. Spelling error. Okay, there we go. And some syntax error. Okay, great. If it clicks no, then it just got bigger, and it clicks yes. Then we show our final little dance cat. And I'm gonna show you another way to do this, that is to make the no button like jumps around and never being clickable. For this event listener, we're going to use mouse over instead of click. And this is the distance that we want to move. The minimum is 200, max also 200. You can switch this around. You can make it dramatic, like 5 pixels every time it gets hovered, and just go out of screen. And this is just logic to randomize where it moves so it's not predictable. We're adding distance using our minimum, max, and angle using our double the amount of random, and pi value double by 2, just some logic here. You can switch that up to your liking. We're just adding transform and making the transition at ease. These needs to be curly brackets again. Awesome. Okay, it's finally time to deploy. So we're going to create our Git, and if you don't know how, I'll leave a link on how to install Git into your laptop. But for now, these are the command lines that I use. Go to Git and we create our repo. And then we have to copy the link right here. Then we go back to our terminal. Then we add git remote at origin here. Then we add our main branch. Then we push it up to Git. Okay, very last step is we go to settings and we go to pages. Then we have to click a source, and we'll just choose our main branch that we just pushed up. And this takes about like 30 seconds or like a minute. But if you refresh the page, then you're going to see if it's a site. Yay, there we go. Hey, if you're you're seeing this, you made it to the very end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed like I did, and whoever got this little project from you, I hope they love it too. Make sure to like and subscribe, and happy Valentine's, and I'll see you in the next video.